So we have an excellent little treat for everybody that we have the history maker himself, Jegou, just back from his gold medal winning performance at the World Cup in Pau, France. Thanks very much for joining us, Liam.
Thank you, Sam. Nice to see you.
You too. And I suppose before we start, will you show us the medal? Will you give us a little flash?
I happen to have it in my pocket by pure luck.
Oh, it's so shiny. I'll lower the brightness so nobody gets glare during the rest of it. So, gold medal winning run. Would you say it was one of your best runs that you've done in a competition?
Yeah, I'd say so. It was definitely one of my best finals. I put in some really good heats runs in the past, especially over the past 2 years. But definitely for a final run, that was right up there with the final in Krakow last year. I was really, really happy with the state of mind I managed to go into the final with.
And it was definitely, whatever about an outstanding run, it was definitely one of the best celebrations that I've seen after a run in recent times, with you launching your paddle down the river. So did you get the paddle back, and did you for any consequences of that?
I was about to say, it almost cost me a paddle there. Yeah, no, I went through, I did my final midway through the finals. So I had to get interviewed straight away after my run. So I chucked the paddle and I chucked it pretty far away. And so I didn't have time to go get the paddle. So I had to go do the interview, and I was trying to see where my paddle was going, if it was staying in one of the eddies or if it was just going downstream. Thankfully, one of the guys on the water managed to get it for me. But yeah.
not a move we would recommend anybody throwing their paddle away in the river. But it was fantastic to see such raw emotion, and just to see, you could see how happy you were with it. So the reaction at home to your medal was incredible. Everybody was delighted about it. And I don't know if you saw, but Ballyvaughan GA Club retweeted it and were saying congratulations. Do you think we might see a crossover when you get a chance to try also get a gold for Ballyvaughan GA?
We might see the comeback. I don't know what I'd be worth now, though. No, the support back home was brilliant. The amount of messages I got on the Sunday and during the week still was unbelievable. My phone just blew up with messages from people back in Clare, the family. The support I got from Canoeing Ireland as well was really brilliant and heartwarming. Yeah.
We're happy to do it, Liam. Happy to do it. So the course itself, you moved to Pau recently. So did it feel like racing on home water? And do you think that helped an awful lot with being able to put down such a good run?
Definitely, yeah. I moved to Pau in end of 2017, straight after World Championships that year, and it's definitely really paid off for me training on an international course like that. And it was definitely my home course racing last weekend. I've done the moves 1,000 times, and it's definitely a course I'm very comfortable on.
Hopefully, we'll see the same thing in Dublin, not too many years.
Yeah.
But this was also, very interestingly, your first ever senior level final. And how did that impact you? Did you have more or less nerves, or what did you feel with it being your first one?
I was really relieved after my semi-final run to finally get into that senior World Cup final. It's been something I've been pushing for a year or two now, and so I was definitely very relieved. And once I was in the final, it's a whole new game. You don't have anything to lose really anymore, and you can kind of just go for it, put the handbrake down, and try and win it. And it went really well this time, and I'm very lucky. For the past 2 years, I've been working with my new coach Nico Péché, S&C coach Jean-Jérôme Perrin, and they're two coaches who have a lot of experience with international races, and having them around me has really, really helped me get to this level and to be prepared in a way for World Cup final.
Brilliant. So you were sixth in the semi-finals. So you went off fourth in the final. As soon as you finished your run, I mean, we saw from the celebration, but did you think you had a medal, or what were your feelings like? How was the wait once you came down? You had to wait for the next few guys to go.
I was very confident that would be enough for a medal. it was the same course in qualifications and in semi-finals for this World Cup. And in the qualifications, I won it with the 99. So, and in the semi-final, it was won with a 99, end of 99 as well. So coming down with a run in 100, I thought it was a really good run. And even personally, without thinking about the others and the result, I was just very happy with what I was able to produce on the day. So I was confident it would be for a medal. I didn't know what color, but yeah, no, I was very, very happy. Yeah.
Hopefully there won't be too much pressure now that you currently have a 100% success rate for winning World Cup finals. So hopefully that won't be too much pressure. So the summer leading into this, with all the lockdowns and COVID and everything, how was your training coming in? Did you have periods that you have to just make do with what you could do, or how did you manage to train?
Yeah, coming out of the lockdown, I traveled to where my coach lives. He owns a gym in Vallon-Pont-d'Arc. So I went over there so I could train almost normally. Obviously, no whitewater, but at least I could really work on all the rest, really. And I'm very happy with the training I managed to put in all summer. I pushed myself really, really hard all summer, not knowing if there was going to be any events this year. But I just kept on training, and I feel like I've gotten much better as a paddler and as an athlete over the summer, which was really the goal coming out of the lockdown. And once the games were postponed, was just to make do with this sort of time off, and get better for next year. Yeah.
So during that time, something that we've seen from you is switching in racing now. Just for anyone who doesn't know, in C1 racing, a paddler will have a one blade in their paddle, so they'll paddle only on one side that they're going to be super comfortable on. And in the race, for some of the moves on what was a really hard course in Po, Liam would swap his paddle over to his right hand side, which would generally be your weaker side. So how did switching start, and how are you feeling with that, and how it's helping your racing?
Yeah, so once the games got postponed, we kind of sat down with my coach, and we were thinking, okay, how do I get better over this year? How do I use this time off to get better for the games next year? And one of the first things that came up was switching, was learning how to paddle on my wrong side, so on my right hand. And it's not new. Like a couple of other C1 paddlers have been doing it for a little bit now, but it's not something that a lot of people do. So I just used this summer to work on that wrong side. I spent a lot of time underwater. It was very difficult. It's still difficult. I still have a lot to learn, but I'm glad I got to implement it a little bit during the race in Po. And it's something I'm going to be working on this winter as well, to be able to really use next year for next year's racing.
So it'll be a little bit harder to work on in the winter than in the summer, but
yeah.
hopefully with the World Cup win on that right hand blade, you'll be able to keep it up a bit more in training. So with as you mentioned, the games getting postponed, how do you feel now? Do you think you have any more expectations now that you have a gold medal going in?
No, I'm trying not to think about the Olympics. I'm just taking it day by day, and I have a solid plan leading up to the Olympics, and I'm just going to train, show up to every session, and train hard, and do my best to get better and get faster, and yeah, whatever happens. I'm very competitive, and I always have high ambitions. So I'd almost say that this medal gives me confidence, but it doesn't change in the way I'd prepare for the Olympics. I'm definitely going with high ambitions, and yeah, there's nothing to lose anyway. So
exactly, and we're sure that it's gonna pay off anyway with all the training. But as you said, this summer you were training super hard. So how's that going to look in the lead into Tokyo next year? Do you know if you'll be able to get out and train on the course, or will you just be staying at home and putting in the same hard work that you have been?
Yeah, I'm going to spend the winter in Po. Most certainly, and train hard in Po. It's a very good place to train during the winter. It doesn't get too cold, and training conditions are excellent. And we're hopefully aiming for a training camp in Tokyo in April. So April, May, June, and then the Olympics in July. That's what we're looking at, and hopefully everything will go ahead. And anyway, that's what I'll be training for, and and we'll see you when we get there.
Brilliant. So, well, I hope you'll continue to train as hard as you were during the summer, because that paid off massively. And if we don't see you before then, best of luck for the games themselves. We're going to look forward to looking at more of the great racing you've been doing. And thanks very much for chatting to us today.
Thank you, Sam. Cheers.